So,
Is that the camera?
hello everyone! Welcome to our little corner of the internet called themustacheandthebeard.com. Two gray geeks changing the world one post at a time. My name is Louis Matos, otherwise known as The Mustache, co-conspirator and co-contributor here at themustacheandthebeard.com. This is our Autopsy video number 4, where we're going to be talking about Pennyworth, the Amazon Prime show. Well, actually, it's an Epix show. And our video is where we talk about geek culture, genre entertainment, and all the little things in between that make life worth living. Joining me today, as always, is my buddy.
Hi, I'm Junior Figueroa, a.k.a. The Beard, for obvious reasons. Coming to you live from Puerto Rico, where the women are hotter, the beaches are wetter,
Yes, they are.
and the martinis are drier. And we should know. Yes.
Booyah!
Booyah.
All right. So, yes, we are going to be today talking about
Pennyworth.
the TV show. The
New TV show.
It's a new TV show. We have a couple of things to say about the show first.
Yes, we'll give you a little background.
And then we're going to complain that we couldn't watch all of it.
Yeah.
All right.
First off,
Uh-huh.
Pennyworth is about Alfred Pennyworth, the butler from Batman. Okay, that in case you didn't know, that's Alfred's last name, Pennyworth. Okay, this show is about him. However, Alfred in this show is in his late 20s. So we're talking, this is an origin story about Alfred. Now, if you think that just any old person could be Batman's butler, let me open your eyes, okay? Alfred is as much as kick-ass as Bruce Wayne grows up to be.
If you watch Gotham, the TV show, you know that too.
You know that for a fact. But this takes place even before Gotham. So if you want to know how Alfred got to be like that, watch this show. That's what this show is about.
Okay, so it's 10 episodes. It's currently streaming on Amazon Prime. It's an Epix show, but they only are showing 2 episodes.
The first 2.
The first 2 episodes are free. And then you either have to subscribe to Epix or pay for each episode, which we weren't about to do.
Because we poll.
Okay.
We poll.
So, Pennyworth is an American crime drama TV series based on DC Comics characters. created by Bob Kane and Bill Finger. That's the ones that created Batman. Premiered July 28th, 2019. So, it's a recent show.
Right.
On Epix. The executive producers are Bruno Heller and Danny Cannon. The title character, Pennyworth, is played by Jack Bannon. Alfred Pennyworth, former British SAS soldier in an Elseworlds type story. And that's where you're going to get my first complaint. Because by calling it an Elseworlds, they're telling you it's not canon. Which means then, why are we watching the show? Just for the sheer enjoyment of it. Because they show televised executions. That's their hint.
This is supposed to take place, it should be the 1950s, because it's supposed to be after World War II, so it should be early 50s. The TV shows, the TV sets, the TV sets themselves are those old first-time sets. You've seen them in movies and everything. These are black and white, old-time sets and so it
with the huge console and the little
screen, right, and monochrome, right. So in that respect, it's accurate, right. But like Lewis said, they were televising executions, okay.
And there are blimps all over the place, flying as if they're the bus.
They never televised executions. Never. So that is a deviation from reality. And then, like they said, they have these blimps that are like all over the place. That it reminds me of the Batman animated series, where they had blimps flying over Gotham City all the time. And so it's very much like that. That didn't happen, okay? This is supposed to be London, say 1950, for argument's sake. It's supposed to be London, 1950. That stuff didn't happen back then, okay? So it is a slight deviation.
It's period piece, so there are the cars of the 1950s.
Right, they got that.
They have a lot of stuff that is accurate, but then they do other stuff that make you know, this is not exactly 1950.
It's like
our 1950.
It's like they put it in London, but their London has as much to do with the real London as Gotham City has to do with New York, right? So perhaps what they should have done was not made in London. They perhaps should have, the same way we all know Gotham City was supposed to be New York, but it's called Gotham City. Why? So that you could get away with stuff like blimps flying over the sky, and you can get away with stuff like blowing up a bridge, which we know that George Washington Bridge never got blown up. So you could get away with stuff like that by making it a mythical city. And
more Gothic architecture
exactly,
everywhere.
And it's always dark, no matter what.
Even during the day,
it's always dark, right? So you could get away with that. So if that's what they wanted to do with this show, maybe they should have simply not made it London and simply called it, make up a name in place of London. They could have done that, but instead, they made it in Elseworlds.
All right. Alfred, in this first episode, and we're going to do characters, but I'm just going to tell you the context. So Alfred becomes a target of the Raven Society, which is kind of like a secret society.
Super fascist.
Yes.
Super fascist.
So it's a group conspiring to take over the British government.
They consider themselves patriots, and that the British government is degenerate.
And just to, again, add more context, Thomas Wayne, the future father of Bruce Wayne, is an American agent of the No Name League. All right, so again, we have another
deviation, because we know that
spy agency.
In Batman's history, his father was Dr. Thomas Wayne. And this Thomas Wayne isn't a doctor, at least not yet.
All right, so let's talk a little bit about Jack Bannon, the actor that is playing Alfred Pennyworth. Striking man.
Yes.
Definitely looks like he could take the part. You know, Alfred Pennyworth is gaunt in the comics. This guy is gaunt, almost not emaciated, but you know,
very slender.
Yeah,
very slender,
and he could kick butt.
Oh boy, can he! Ex-SIS, and he was good at it. He mentions that he was 10 years in the military. SAS, 10 years. We're talking about, to get any tougher than this guy, you'd have to move up to tank.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, he's really, you could see him playing this part, and you know, 10 years in the SAS, absolutely. Physically, he's now going. You know, he comes home.
He's out of the military.
Yeah. And I'm going to tell you a little bit about some of the friends that he still has in the military. So he comes home and he decides, I'm going to start a security agency of my own. You know,
against the wishes of his parents.
And we're going to talk about his parents too. All right.
Yeah,
so the next character, though, that is in IMDb is Ben Aldridge, is the actor that plays Thomas Wayne. All right, he's the wealthy American doctor.
He looks the part.
Yes.
He's perfect for the part.
Yeah, from Gotham City, who hopes to hire. He tries to hire Pennyworth,
Alfred,
as a security person. We're told that Wayne is a CIA operative working undercover for the No Name League, and so he actually is working for the CIA. He's a doctor, medical doctor.
He claims to be a forensic, not a forensic scientist, but forensics doing with books, with accounting. I'm a forensic accountant. Because when we first meet him, he's messing with the Raven Society's books, right? He's finding this discrepancy, and he claims to be a forensic accountant.
Yeah, and Alfred is working as a bouncer.
Yeah, he started a security firm, but the best that he could get was a bouncer at a club.
Yeah. So he's kind of like, he has his own business, but he's a bouncer at a club, like to be able to make some money. And so what happens? One of the people that he has to bounce is Thomas Wayne in the first episode, because his sister is a little bit of a nut job.
Right. And she's in the club with two men. She's drunk. So, I mean, I didn't even know that Batman had an aunt.
Mm-hmm.
So, she's in the club drunk with these two men who do not want to let her go. And Thomas Wayne is trying to take her out of the club, take her home. He's trying to save his sister. And he's not backing down. And so he causes disturbance in the club. And if he causes disturbance in the club, who do they call? The bouncer, which is Alfred. And
he discreetly escorts them out.
Right.
And
after beating the shit out of... Oh, excuse me.
Beating
the crap.
Yes.
After beating the crap.
And he meant that in the most loving.
Yeah. He beat the spit out of the two guys, which was impressive. Mm-hmm. I mean, this is the first time we see that
Pennyworth,
that he's no joke. Mm-hmm. He is no joke. He takes on these two guys like Captain America.
And again, he's not jacked. He's skinny. So it's
all skill.
Yeah. So they're not. They were
laughing at him as the bouncer. They were The two guys were laughing at him as the bouncer before they had he knocked their lights out.
But Thomas Wayne is suitably impressed. He gives his business card to Pennyworth and says, "Listen, call me. I'd like to hire you for my security as my security detail." All right. But so Pennyworth just puts the card in his pocket.
But he did give Thomas Wayne his business card. That's what comes to bite him in the butt.
Oh, that's true.
Later on, he does give.
Yeah, they exchange cards.
They exchange cards. So he does give Thomas Wayne his business card. That says that security consultant.
Yeah, something like that.
Something like that. Which Thomas Wayne keeps the card.
All right. We're gonna talk about each episode, the 2 episodes that we saw, but we're gonna again. I'm trying to keep them in context. So another character that we're introduced to is Hainsley Lloyd Bennett. Is Dion Baza Bashford. He's a playboy, longtime friend of Alfred, who served in the SAS with him. And we see him in the beginning.
They do flashbacks of them in combat.
He is a dark-complected man. And he works. He kind of is part of the consulting firm as one of his buddies.
Every time Alfred
they work for him.
Every time Alfred needs help, he goes running to two of the 2 friends that he has.
Yes.
From his military days.
Yeah. So Baza and Davy Boy. I'm going to tell you, Davy Boy is played by Ryan Fletcher. Wallace McDougal is the guy's name, but his nickname, his soldier name, was Davy Boy.
Davy Boy.
He's got a drinking problem. He's an Anglo. He's a bit of a nut. He's the berserker kind of guy that is like, he's
that friend.
Jumps in.
He's that friend that when you need to kill someone, he would joyfully join in.
Yeah.
Singing the whole time.
Yeah. He's the one that you call him and it's like, I got this.
I got this.
Yeah. You don't need to help. I got this. All right. So, fun guys, both Baza and Davy Boy. I could so totally see them being best friends with you and why you would rely on them. But I could so totally see Davy Boy being a problem.
I can see him in prison someday.
Yeah. All right. You had mentioned Alfred's parents.
His parents.
And I want to talk to you about Dorothy Atkinson is Mary Pennyworth, Alfred's mother, and Ian Poulston Davies is Arthur Pennyworth, his father. And he's a butler.
The butler.
Not only is he a butler, he's a legacy butler.
And so he wants.
What do you expect from your son?
To go into service, to become a butler. And so he argues with his son about this, about that he could do that and forget about this security consultant nonsense, which is kind of ironic considering how we know how Alfred ultimately winds up being Batman's butler.
Mm-hmm. You know that's always in the background. You know that's where he's going, and yet he's security, and he fights with Dad because Dad is like, "This is what we do. Right. This is who we are.
He says,
this is an honorable thing."
He says, "I want to be my own man,"
mm-hmm.
and his father says, "I'm not my own man."
It's that father-son thing.
Yes.
All right.
And for us, we've seen it on both ends. We've been son and now father.
Mm-hmm. All right. Now I want to tell you a little bit about the Raven Society.
All right.
Because this is like...
Tell us a little bit about the Raven Society.
This is like Spectre, right? And this is a little bit like Chaos.
It's like a little bit like Hydra.
Yeah. Right. So you put these in context. We're telling you some of these criminal organizations' aim.
Yeah, it's ultra fascist, ultra secret. Members are placed in the highest forms of government.
All right.
every conspiracy lover's dream.
So Jason Fleming is Lord James Harwood.
Now, Jason Fleming. You guys know Jason Fleming, right? You don't recognize the name? I'm going to tell you the name. First off, he's the one who played Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde.
Oh, yeah.
In The Watchmen. And I've seen him in the Three Musketeers.
In The Watchmen?
No, I'm sorry.
The League of Extraordinary Gentlemen.
The League of Extraordinary Gentlemen. He's Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. I've also seen him in The Three Musketeers. I've also seen him in... Well, I mean, come on. You've seen him... He's all over the place. Yeah. He's one of those British actors that you see constantly.
Yeah, and he has a knack for playing like the bad guy. Yeah. He's usually the bad guy.
Yeah. Or if he's a good guy, he's a crazy good guy.
Yeah, he's got a weird face kind of thing. So.
Yeah.
Okay, so he's the leader of the Raven Society, conspiring to take over the British government. And yet he's, I guess it's House of Commons? Is that, or House of...
No, he's a lord.
He's a lord.
House of Lords.
Okay, so House of Lords. Okay, so yeah, he is in the government. He's and so he works things throughout. Paloma Faith. What
a name.
Yes. Her name is Bette Sykes in this. And Sykes, good last name. She's a sadistic, sociopathic killer who works as an enforcer for the Raven Society. So...
And she looks so sweet when she does it.
Yes. At first, she seems so unassuming. But then she goes bat crap crazy. All right, so when
she's fun.
Yes, she's fun. She's an absolutely fun character. When she kidnaps Esme, and that, again, not a spoiler because it's the first episode, Alfred's girlfriend is Esme. And we're going to talk a little bit about her afterwards. But first, I'm talking about the Raven Society and the way they do stuff. She kidnaps Alfred's girlfriend, and she kind of, during the process of keeping her, she kind of like develops a kind of friendship, attachment, / weird kind of I like you vibe. Yeah, so it's weird, but again, she's a nut, right? She's Sykes.
Nut.
All right. We're also introduced to her sister.
Yeah, but that's episode 2.
But that's episode 2, so I'm not going to talk about her yet because I want to put that in context with episode 2. So, let's see. Okay, I'm going to talk about Esme. All right. Emma Corrin is the name of the actress. Lovely girl. Yeah. She plays an exotic dancer at the club where Alfred bounces.
Right.
All right. And so she's also an aspiring actress.
He picks her up.
And
they hit it off.
But
I mean, they hit it off big time.
Yeah, and they have a little montage showing that, that this is not a one-night thing.
It's not a one-night stand, and it's not a casual thing.
It's, successive nights.
These two are falling in love.
Yes, absolutely. And it says here, that there is a love relationship because they start talking about moving in together.
Right. They're in love.
Yes. So in the first episode, it kind of, I'd say, I don't know, a month maybe a little longer is the way it goes. Because the Raven Society wants Thomas Wayne dead.
Because of that forensic accounting that he does. He's found stuff out. And so he's a liability now. And so they want him dead. So they try to kill him.
Yeah.
And they blow it.
And they fail. They absolutely fail. And so, what do? Lord James Harwood flips out, and he goes, "Send Crazy Girl."
Sykes.
Yes. And so she decides, let's try and kill Thomas Wayne. Again, fails. So they fail to kill him twice. And so when she gets yelled at, she's like, "Oh my God, I got to do something."
She doesn't like getting yelled at.
Yeah. So she decides that I'm gonna get somebody to get Wayne. And so she...
Because of
Alfred, of the card.
Alfred's business card. Because Wayne left the business card in his jacket, and Sykes finds Thomas Wayne's jacket, and she finds the card. So she assumes there's a connection between the two of them. So she checks on
Pennyworth.
And finds his military background. And so she gets the bright idea of kidnapping his girlfriend and then holding her to force Alfred to kill Thomas Wayne. And it makes perfect sense to her.
Uh-huh. And when he gets the phone call, when Pennyworth gets the phone call, "I need you to kill Thomas Wayne," he's like, "Who's this guy? I have no idea. You only met him one night."
And it didn't stick in his memory.
No. And so he investigates, finds out who Wayne is.
Realizes that it's the guy from the club that night.
And so he's like, "You know what? That's my girlfriend. I don't know who this guy is. Psh, screw him." And so he goes to kidnap him, and Thomas Wayne starts talking.
He kidnaps him. He doesn't kill him. He hooks up with his two buddies, and they kidnap him. And then in talking to Thomas Wayne, he gets a look at the big picture.
Uh-huh. He forms an understanding as to, there's a Raven Society, there's a society of baddies trying to take over the British government, and somehow this guy has information, but they have my girlfriend. So, Thomas Wayne smooth talks Pennyworth into, "Let's try something, because listen, if you think you hand me over, you think it's going to be over, that they're just going to..."
The problem for the bad guys is that they think that Alfred is just a soldier. Is just a thug. Right? They don't realize that there's a brain in that head. And so he outmaneuvers the bad guys. And the bad guys apparently are used to strong-arming everything, so they show up for the exchange. They don't bother to bring the girl, just like Thomas Wayne said that they weren't going to. And they show up with submachine guns, and they expect Alfred to cave. They just expect him to cave. Now Alfred's there with his two boys, and to the bad guys' disappointment, not only don't they cave, they take out the guys with
the machine guns.
The machine guns. We're talking SAS. You know who the SAS is? Okay? The SAS taught our special forces how to be special forces. Okay? So that is the bad guy's mistake. They constantly underestimate Alfred, and each time he rises to the occasion. So they set up another meet.
Correct.
Right.
They actually, go to, try to. They hadn't killed the bad guys that are all there. They're all hurt, and they say, "Tell us where the girl is," and I'm not going to tell you anything. Oh, okay. They shoot the guys that are alive.
Of the three.
The three that are, they shoot two, as like.
The third one is, what do you want to know? I'm willing to tell you whatever you want to know. I will tell you what I know, and then afterwards, I will shine your shoes.
So yeah, so that's how they find out. So yeah, the good guys in this are not above. I mean, they were soldiers.
Hey, they were soldiers.
Yeah. And this is all for king and country anyway, for queen and country. So they set up a meet, but the reality is they go in, guns blazing. Well, Alfred walks in to meet Lord Harwood.
They set up the meet. They set up the meet, but Alfred by this point knows he can't count on the bad guys for living up to their end. So he goes in with the intentions of rescuing his girlfriend. So he goes in and he meets the bad guy.
Mm-hmm. And then
the bad guy tries to recruit Alfred. Again, thinking that he's just a soldier. He's just a thug. You know?
Throw money at it.
Throw money. Appeal to his baser instinct. No. This guy, yeah, he was a soldier. He's a patriot. Okay? And he's basically a decent person. He's a very decent, actually. Not basically, he's a very decent person. He's capable of great violence because he was a soldier. But like Lewis said, he did it for Queen and country. It wasn't out of pleasure or anything, or even for money.
All right, so Esme is rescued because I'm not going to give you the finer details of that. And Bet
pulls it off. He pulls it off. He surprises everyone. He pulls it off.
And Bet Sykes escapes. And Lord Harwood escapes. So the police come around and they see, okay, and they help in everything.
And they get the story.
They get the story. The fact is that Bet is not someone to give up very easily. So when they're finished at the police precinct, Esme and Pennyworth leave, and Pennyworth goes home. And what does he find at home? Who's with mom and dad? Bet Sykes.
And her thug.
And a thug, right. So
they want Esme.
They want Esme.
He says that there is no Esme. We broke up. And guess who comes knocking at the door at that instant? Esme. And she won't take no for an answer. I know you're in there. Oh, come in. I need to talk to you. Let me in. Forget it. Sykes gets her. But Alfred succeeds in
getting her back.
Pulling a rabbit out of her hat again. They get the drop on Sykes and his thug.
And Bet is a known murderer. The police grab her.
Well, before that, the part that I liked was that then Alfred's parents, his dear sweet mother, his sweet mother, a housewife, you know, I'll put on a cup of tea, you know. And his father, the butler,
yes, the genteel
gentleman, you know,
honorable,
in control, you know,
distinguished
father, proceed to beat the crap out of the thug and Sykes. But I mean, it wasn't enough that they got knocked out and on the floor. His parents look at each other and proceed to start kicking and stomping. I'm telling you, it was hilarious.
It was
hilarious. Oh, wait till you see it. It was incredible.
And that's just episode 1.
And that's episode 1. Okay.
So,
and it seems like a lot of information. It seems like a lot of stuff went on. None of it was rushed. None of it was harried. None of it was the pacing is perfect. The information, and it all makes sense. It all ties together. It works. It works.
Okay. So that's the first episode. The second episode is called The Landlord's Daughter. Alfred's side job as a security consultant brings him to the attention of the local crime lord, John Ripper. All right, so now we get introduced to another bad guy, who's a crime lord, John Ripper. Basically,
he's a nut job.
Alfred is in a pub.
His pub, his favorite watering hole.
Right.
That they know him, and he knows everybody.
According to this, it's the landlord's daughter, so it's the landlord. Alfred lives above the pub.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah.
That's true.
So Alfred is with his two buddies, Davy Boy and Buzza. And Baza. He's with his boys. They're, having, some beverages. And, somebody walks in. Skeevy as all get out. The pub, the owner.
What he looks like is what you would imagine Jack Nicholson looking like at 23.
He's also the actor that was in Riverdale. And he is the slimy rich guy
Reggie?
No, not Reggie. No, he's the slimy rich guy that is a former friend of Veronica. And they ran in the same circles, and he's the guy that most likely to date rape. Okay, that's what vibe that this guy gives.
This guy, he looks like the guy most likely to become the Joker.
Right, and I think he's the nephew of John Ripper.
Right. So his last name is Ripper also.
Right, and so he has this sense of entitlement. And so when he comes in, the pub owner says, "Can I give you a drink?" And he goes, No, I want your daughter to serve me. She makes really good drinks, special for me. And so it's like dripping with sleaze and slime.
And this poor girl.
And this poor girl, she goes...
is forced to wait on him. And forced to she's forced to put up with his unwanted affection.
And they all are watching this. Pennyworth and Baza and Davy Boy, and they're like,
what the hell's going on here?
Do we need to go kick some butt? And it's like no, the because of the family that this is a crime family.
Right.
And the shop owner doesn't want any kind of waves, despite that his daughter. And at a certain point, he's employed by the shop owner.
Ultimately, the landlord employs Alfred to take care of this problem. Now he doesn't tell him how.
Yeah. He says and take care of the problem, but that there won't be any repercussions because the fear from the beginning is this is a crime lord. This is
This is the Godfather.
I could disappear.
Right.
My daughter could disappear.
Absolutely.
This business could disappear.
They could blow up the pub.
With very little repercussions for them. So, Alfred does his thing with his boys.
Basically, what he does is he kidnaps the nephew. The nephew does not know who has kidnapped him or why. They psychologically torture the nephew and prove to the uncle how unreliable, because the nephew was ready to give up his uncle. He was ready to give him up, give him the information, whatever they wanted. He was ready to give it up. It proving, the uncle's watching this, and it proves to him that his nephew is unreliable. He can't count on him. So Alfred showed him the crime boss showed him a chink in his armor, a weak link in.
Yeah.
In
this
his
is one
thing.
of your lieutenants, you know.
Right, this is your nephew. You know, he's privy to all your information, and he's ready to give it up. So the deal is that
he goes to America.
he sends his nephew to. He gets rid of him. He gets rid of him.
Not killing him, though.
Not killing him, but he gets rid of him. Therefore, he got rid of his weakness, right? He also got rid of the problem with the landlord. Now, the way that they are not they remain in good standing with the crime boss is they did him a favor. They showed him a weakness in his operation.
And this is what I do as a security consultant.
Right.
I demonstrate weaknesses in people's security measures.
Right. And so the crime boss lets Alfred get away with it because he did him a favor. He actually did. He wasn't too crazy about it being his nephew and all of that, but he had to admit, the crime boss had to admit that they were right.
And the crime boss doesn't just take it lying down, though. He does kind of give Alfred a sense of, listen, I'm letting you get away with this.
Right.
Let me show you what I can do. And he shows him, and just so there's a price paid for doing this favor to the crime boss, and we get the crime boss's nephew saying, "I'm gonna get you," right? So again, we only saw 2 episodes, so we don't know if this comes to play later on.
Okay. Right.
Yeah, so I think, I mean, this is way longer than I thought it was going to be.
The basically, again, the problem is we only saw the first 2 episodes, and we can only see the first 2 episodes because it that's all that's free. We cannot afford to be paying for each.
I don't want to sign up for Epics. I don't know if we even get Epics here in Puerto Rico.
Yeah, and so all we can do is tell you what we know. We saw the first 2 episodes. That's what they were about.
The 3rd episode is titled Martha Kane. And if you know anything about the mythology of Batman, you know that Martha Kane becomes Martha Wayne.
Right. Which is interesting. How do they spell her last name?
Kane.
Because that happens to be the last name of Batwoman.
Oh, is it?
So what they may be setting up is a familial connection between the future Batwoman and Batman.
Yeah, so...
yeah, Batwoman's name is Kathy Kane.
Okay. I guess now, do we want to go into our ratings and recommendations?
Yeah.
All right, it's your turn.
You want me to do it?
Yeah, you go first.
Okay, I highly recommend this show based on the 2 episodes that I've seen. Okay? Again, you know, I have to warn you, I only saw 2. I don't know if in the 3rd episode they jumped the shark. Mm-hmm. I just don't know. Based on the 2 episodes, I recommend it. I will give it 4 geeks. 4 geeks. Okay? Which is a high rating. I'm taking half a geek away for the fact that it's an Elseworlds. Okay, I didn't like that too much either. I think to me, I feel like it was unnecessary. It didn't need. You could have gotten around it. There are other ways of getting around it other than having to make it an Elseworlds story.
Correct.
So I'm taking half a star away from that, and then I'm taking another half a star simply because I don't want to do a spoiler, but it seems like they're intending to keep using the same bad guys all the time, and I don't think it's necessary. I think it would have been better overall for you. You may want to keep your top bad guys.
The Raven Society.
Right, the Raven Society. Even Lord...
Harwood. Harwood.
Yeah, even Lord Harwood. But you don't need to keep all the thugs and henchmen and everything that it would make more sense to get rid of them and then introduce new, more interesting thugs and for Alfred to beat up. So I'm taking a half a geek away from that. So that's 2 geeks. So that's 2 half geeks makes 1 geek. So I'm giving it a 4, a rating of 4.
Okay. It's very difficult to judge an entire series on 2 episodes. Like the series, and just like the Beard said, the Elseworlds thing just pisses me off. Why? Because you know the story's going to get here, and you know it starts here. But who says that you have to do this? You could do all of this,
right?
As long as you get here.
Look at Gotham.
I don't understand the Elseworlds concept other than...
And Smallville.
I don't want to be tied to canon. And I am tired of the BS of writers that don't want to be tied to canon. Listen, you want to write Batman? Guess what? There have been 50 years of Batman. 75 years of Batman? Something. It's like you...
No, right. About 75 years of Batman.
So, if you want to write Batman...
So jump on the bandwagon and be honored that you're doing
it. Part of it.
That's right.
As opposed to, no, I want to do my own thing. Then you're not writing Batman. You're not writing Alfred Pennyworth that I know. So that's... so I took a whole Grey Geek for that. I love that the Bet Sykes, she is supposed to be killed. That's how we know that that they televise the executions. She's supposed to be executed. And then we meet her sister who rescues her from the execution. And then again, this is the end of the episode 2. So you know that they're going to keep using Bet Sykes. I'm okay with that. I like the fact that Peggy Sykes is Bet Sykes' sister, and they're both nuts. So I like that. You're going to have... I want a rogues gallery. I don't like the idea, like the Beard said, that, they're going to keep using the same bad guys. Okay, you can. I mean, we could keep using the Joker, but you can't just have the Joker. You have to have the Riddler. You have to have Penguin. You have to have all the other bad guys.
Yeah, but you see, but at this right now, you're not going to get any because Bet Sykes is still in the picture. Mm-hmm. In order to have gotten a new, you would have to have removed her from the picture, even if you brought her back later on. See, now by her still being there, now there's no room for.
Well, we still have the Ripper. The Ripper is like he's an ally, but it's like having Kingpin. Sometimes an ally, but not really. So it's just I think that there's room for that. However, it's annoying to me because of the fact that it's not tied to canon. So I read something about Martha Kane that's just...
What'd you read?
Well, it's kind of a spoiler, and I don't really...
Go right ahead, because we got very little to
go on.
To go on.
Yeah, Martha Kane and Alfred Pennyworth kind of have a thing going on, and it's like, why? What does he? Would he eventually? Would he ever? Yeah, would he ever?
Are they setting it up for Bruce to be biologically Alfred's?
Yeah, but we know Esme is not going to be in the picture, which is, what are they going to do? Are they going to kill her off? Are they going to, break up? I mean, it could be that, but the way that they've set it up is like, Esme is the yin to his yang, So
I thought that she was going to be around long enough to then her getting killed off,
right,
is what would finally drive
so
Alfred into becoming the Wayne
and
Butler.
That might be the best way to do it. But again, we don't know that. We only saw 2 episodes, so if it happens, it's a
All-
spoiler. It's
all
not a spoiler.
speculation.
So really annoying things about the show, but the action, the actors, the acting is really good.
Jack Bannon.
Yeah.
I want it. I'm going to make it official right here. I'm throwing his hat into the ring. I think Jack Bannon should be the next James Bond.
He's in his 20s,
Now-
so it's a good thing.
Now, yeah, his late 20s. He's in his middle to late 20s, which everybody's going to say he's too young. You're right. Right now, he's too young. But we're still getting another Bond movie from Daniel Craig, right? The latest one, No Time to Die. And in an interview, he said he loves being James Bond and he wants to do another one. By the time Daniel Craig is ready to step down, Jack Bannon will be 30 years old, right? 30, 31 years old. That's the age of Sean Connery when he played Bond and George Lazenby when he played Bond. Okay? As a matter of fact, it's only a couple of years younger than Daniel Craig when he started playing Bond. They all started playing Bond in their 30s. He will be the perfect age. I want Jack Bannon to be the next James Bond. Make it happen. Make it happen, people. Okay? He's the next Bond. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it. Make it happen.
Okay, so with that rant, let me just give you my rating. I don't feel like I could do more than go right down the middle. Even though it looks really good, I like most of it. I'd love to see the rest of it to be able to make it better. The writing is good. I mean, but I hate, and this is a pet peeve of mine that we've been talking about for the 2 months that we've been doing this thing. Just absolutely drives me nuts that that writers don't want to be tied to canon in comic books. That artists think that writing is just ancillary to a story. Can't stand that. So, because it's stepping on some of my pet peeves, I'm going to go right down the middle with 3 Great Geeks. I, again, am cautiously optimistic.
You're taking off 2 Great Geeks because of its Elseworlds?
Because because they're chicken crap. Because, like I said, this is where you're gonna be. This is where the story starts. You're telling me that you can't do all of this, and get here? Then you are a crappy writer. Okay?
I don't know why. I'm not sure.
It's just riled. I'm riled.
I'm not sure why they chose to go with
Elseworlds.
I'm not sure.
I know why because they're chicken crap.
Because you didn't have to. Gotham didn't go, and they had a blank slate. They came up with
They have new villains on top of the regular guys.
And no, they came up with background for Penguin and background for Riddler and background for Catwoman that nobody had ever heard before.
And background for Joker too.
Yeah.
They have a guy there that's supposedly the Joker, and he's a nut.
Yeah. So I don't understand why they opted for an Elseworlds approach to this story. I would have basically what you begin here in Pennyworth is basically Gotham and Smallville. In Smallville, we knew where it was headed. The idea of this show was to show us how Clark Kent becomes Superman.
Mm-hmm. Superboy going to Superman.
No, because he's never Superboy.
Oh, he's never Superboy.
He's never Superboy. The series ends with when he puts on that costume for the first time and opens his shirt and shows the S. That's how the series ends.
How many seasons of Smallville were there?
Oh, a lot.
Right, all of those seasons and there's no Superman in it?
No, he is never Superman. He is operating as a superhero incognito.
Wow.
His whole teen years, he's operating in. They call him the Blur. The media calls him the Blur because he zooms in, fixes it, and zooms right out. All everyone ever sees is a blur. The promise was that it would end with his. So in the last episode, by the last episode, he's Clark Kent working for the Daily Planet. An emergency happens. He opens his shirt. The S is there, and that's how the series ends. Okay.
Wow.
That was the premise of the show. To show how
he gets there.
Sherlock, the modern day take on Sherlock Holmes. The whole premise of the series was to show how Sherlock Holmes becomes the detective and the hero that we know. So that the series started with Sherlock being morally ambivalent, and it ends with him being, as his having decided to be a good man and not a bad man. And so that's how they ended the show. There is no more Sherlock because that was the premise of the show. Gotham was to show us how
we got
Batman.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? That's it. Now this is supposed to be how we get Alfred. I don't understand why they needed to put it in an Elseworld in order to do that. I don't get it. Anyway, that's it. That's our take on Pennyworth. Take it for what it's worth. Get it? Pennyworth, get it? Get it? You got it?
I get it. All right. So as you can tell, we like the show. Well, we like those 2 episodes. Love to be able to show more, to read more. All right. So with that having been said, we thank you for your attention and affection. Please continue to press the like button. Love that like button. We have Twitter here at Captain Yale Talon. That's my Twitter. I post just inane stuff sometimes, but also about the mustache and the beard. Don't forget our Facebook page. The website, well, obviously the website, if you're listening to this, you're on the website, themustacheandthebeard.com. We love your comments. Let's be interactive. Tell us what we got right, and even what you think we got wrong. As always, please continue to support the site. This is Louis Matos.
This is Junior Figueroa.
For the Mustache and the Beard, we say... Live long and prosper.
Live long and prosper.
From Star Trek. We say adios muchachos from Aliens.
Aliens.
Yeah. Hasta la vista.
Hasta la vista, baby.
That's Terminator. Those are not the droids we're looking for.
Those are not the droids we're looking for.
That's Star Wars. We're gonna need a bigger boat. Come on.
Jaws.
Yippee-ki-yay!
Mother.
Goodbye. See you later. Take it easy.
Peace!